Hey, top of the morning to you. It is another one of these, and my name is Mike. This is the FBTV Video Podcast. For those of you who have access to the insider content, you're able to watch it live as we are doing it, so top of the morning to you. Wednesday morning, 9 a.m., well, a little bit after 9. March the 22nd. No, it's not. It's March 31st. I'm looking at the wrong date. And I got notes I go by, and the note had March 22nd, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. A lot of things to talk about in this podcast. Some of the headlines, some of the things we're going to be talking about, top 10 highest paying trucking companies in the U.S. A month-long statewide distracted driving crackdown starts tomorrow. I believe that's going to be up in the Northeast, New Jersey, I believe. Be talking about that. Catskill weigh and reweigh prices have gone up. I believe that was effective day before yesterday. Former trucking company executive to pay $8 million in restitution and go to prison. Double whammy. We're going to be talking about that individual and something that will pertain to brokers because pretty much what this person was doing, I have actually seen that happen to one of my clients, and we'll be talking about that today as well. More than 300 trucks inspected during the Georgia blitz. I guess that's what it's going to be known as. That occurred last week. And like I said, we're going to be talking about the top 10 highest paying trucking companies in the U.S. That was so nice. We put it in our notes for twice. How about fuel? Fuel is down this week, which is a good thing. Down is fuel, and that's, like I said, always a good thing. Down 3 cents diesel is, down to $3.16 a gallon. Gas is at $2.85 a gallon, down a penny, not like it was a year ago. But maybe the oil companies started feeling the heat. Maybe they tuned into this podcast and they found out we were on to them. We wish, right? All right. Hey, you want to got questions, comments, messages you want? You can call us. Matter of fact, you can call, email, leave a message or comments on our website, freightbrokertv.com. We have an email address, too. You got a question or anything like that, you can email me, fbtv@freightbrokertv.com. Like I said, contact forms all over our website. And we have a studio line, 479-668-0213. And if y'all don't start using that before too long, we're just going to shut it down. And initially, a lot of people were using it, but maybe the thought of your voice being on one of the broadcast videos, whatever, scared you. All right, let's see here. Catskill weigh and reweigh prices have gone up. Last week, actually, Catskill increased the prices for a weigh and a reweigh. Up 50 cents. 50 cents for a weigh, up 50 cents for a reweigh. So, $12.50 if your first weigh, $3 your reweigh. Now, I was reading the article, and the article actually said after 2 reweighs, it's up to the scale master to decide if they want to charge you again. But what was funny to me, they said the last reweigh would be the last $3 you would be charged. I thought, that's duh. Oh, well, it is what it is. A Smokey and the Bandit era truck stop is to close. Maybe you recognize this sign. The Ferris truck stop located off I-29, you might know it as Highway 71 as well, exit 35 in Fawcett, Missouri between Kansas City and St. Joe, going to be closing May the 2nd, my anniversary, the day after my birthday. That's what a company representative confirmed anyway. Truck stop opened in 1976. Right around the year, Smokey and the Bandit came out, 76, 77. Best known for its sign, like you see up there. And if you're on the podcast, you may want to hop on over to the YouTube channel where we post the video as well. Unless you are tuned in on our live broadcast from the FBTV Insider. But anyway, just if you're on the podcast, it's got a 1974 Peterbilt truck with a 1965 Fruhoff trailer mounted 50 feet in the air. It's a sight to behold, but I've seen it. Been up through there. If you're going from Arkansas, going up through Arkansas up to Kansas City, my day went up 71. Then you actually, later on down the road, they built the 540, which is now called 49. And I don't know. Don't make no sense to me. Don't get me started on the way Arkansas names its roads. It always screwed me up because they called it 540. Well, it's a north and south interstate, but actually, and it was going to be part of 49, but they called it 540, which, if you didn't know, you will. Even number interstate is east-west. Odd numbers are north and south. Okay, so why they called it 540? They called it 540 because they were labeling it a bypass, I believe. And what you weren't really bypassing anything except the old Highway 71. And if you had ever been up and down Highway 71 in a big truck, well, wasn't that special? They had a treat. They had a curve on Highway 71, and we all called it Tyson Corner. And the reason was, I don't know, within a 12-month period, 2, 3, 4 different Tyson trucks went off that same curve. And there was a big old tree down there at the bottom. And every time a truck went off that tree, the owner of that tree collected money from Tyson. At least that's the way the story goes, because that tree was, I don't know, something important. It was just a tree until the first Tyson truck hit it. And then it became a family heirloom or something, you know what I mean? What else are we talking about today? Let's talk about what's going on up in New Jersey. Law enforcement agencies throughout New Jersey will be partnering for the next month. So this is going to go on the whole month of April to conduct a high-visibility distracted driving enforcement campaign. You drive, you text, you pay. I just love the way the Gestapo threatened us with, you drive, you take, click it or ticket, And they get real serious about it. You see the commercials, and the commercials really are so demotivation. It's almost like, you better do this or else. We're the Gestapo. Hey, I'm behind law enforcement, but your advertising campaigns and what you call stuff, it's like you've got Attila the Hun here as your marketing rep or PR person. Needs to change. Anyway, New Jersey's You Drive, You Text, You Pay law enforcement campaign begins April 1st. And it's going to go through the end of the month throughout the state. During the enforcement effort, officers will be assigned to conduct proactive enforcement operations utilizing marked vehicles and unmarked vehicles. During the campaign, law enforcement officials will be targeting drivers who engaged in distracted driving behaviors, including texting, talking on a handheld phone, eating and drinking, talking to other people in the vehicle. Oh, so now if you're talking to, if you've got a passenger and you're talking to them, you're going to get pulled over for a distracted driving ticket? Or using a GPS? Come on, guys. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with it. I know you're doing this under the guise of safety, but come on. You're really talking to another person in your car, drinking something, eating? I have a problem with that too. If I got a cheeseburger, okay, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I will eat and drive, but when I'm eating, it's either cookies, if it's a burger or something, I'm not getting a quarter pounder with cheese or a Whopper or nothing like that. I'm getting a regular, little hamburger or something, hold one hand and no biggie, be done with it. Safety's always first. But it is New Jersey, I guess. What are you going to do? All right, we are, let's get to one of our main topics. Tell you what, we got a Q&A today. And the topic of the day, when we get to it here in just a little bit, is going to be Amazon. Amazon and other trucking issues. Matter of fact, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, Amazon started decontracting their contracted drivers. Matter of fact, at one time, Amazon had a thing on their website. Hey, click here. Click here. You can be a contractor for Amazon. You can go. We'll help you. We'll front you money or something like that. And a lot of people signed up with it. What they did was got their own authority, bought a van or something they call Amazon deliveries in. And they did. They built their business. These are independent contractors, entrepreneurs. And they added more and more and more. And then here about a year and a half ago, Amazon lowered the boom, started decontracting these people. A lot of people lost everything, just lost everything, because Amazon changed its mind. Yeah, we wanted you as part of our team until we decided we didn't want you anymore. And kind of what's happening with their, the way it reads is their employees that are employees of Amazon that are delivering. I got 2 full pages here about Amazon stuff. We'll be getting into that here in a little bit. But anyway, let's talk about this former trucking company exec. And brokers, you need to pay attention to this because I have experienced this kind of scam in the past. But anyway, former trucking company exec to pay $8 million restitution. They're going to jail, prison, probably federal. Anyway, woman who formerly served as chief financial officer for the now defunct Bison Global Logistics out of Texas, she's been sentenced to federal prison in order to pay over $8 million. Well, I'm right at $8 million anyway. Well, no, it's going to be over $8 million when you come right down to it. In restitution in connection with the fraud scheme. Her name is Nikki. She's 50 years old. Sentenced to almost 4 years, 46 months in federal pen. Ordered to pay $7,479,179.39 in restitution to Pro Billing and Funding Services of Alabama, and $596,425 in restitution to the IRS. Yeah, man, you pull a fraud, the IRS is going to get their hands in there too. Hey, you made money off of it. You're paying us. Pay. You got to pay taxes of what you defrauded people out of. Crazy. The country we live in today. Anyway, in February 2020, it goes on to say, after she gets released from prison, she's going to have to serve 5 years of supervised release, so I guess probation or whatever, parole, whatever you call it, that's release, whatever. Anyway, in February 2020, a little over a year ago, she pleaded guilty to one count of wire fraud and one count of making a false statement on an income tax return. One count, $500,000, almost $600,000 restitution. Wow. All right, here's the deal. She admitted that while employed by Bison Global Logistics between 2012 and 2017, she schemed to submit false and inflated receivables to financing companies. Well, here's the deal. The financing companies were factoring companies. If you're not familiar with a factoring company is a company, a lot of trucking companies use, there's a lot of factoring companies, but a trucking company will use the factoring company. Basically, they're selling their invoice to the factoring company to get an advance on that invoice. All right. It can be anywhere from 85 to 95% advance, whatever. So what it sounds like she was doing was creating false invoices or whatever and inflating the price. So she was getting a bigger chunk back. You see what I'm saying? Bigger. And how it went on for that long. Now, I'm not sure if this is what she was doing, but that's the first thing that popped in my head. But how it went on for 5 years, that's the only thing that confounds me. How did they not catch this for 5 years? There was some type of audit done, I think, and that's where she got busted. But anyway, now the story, and this is for you freight brokers, the story I'm going to relate, actually, how did it work out? What it was, had a client. They had got a truck to move a load for one of their customers. Well, the trucking company that the client used, they used a factoring company. And the factoring company invoiced the client for more than what the confirmed load the client was paying the trucking company. Kind of find out, long story short, what this trucking company did, they photoshopped the load confirmation and changed it around to make it look like they wanted, submitted that paperwork to the factoring company, got paid more. And when the factoring company tried to bill, they were busted. That's a good way not to ever be used by a factoring company again. That's a real good way to actually get locked up and go to jail. And we got all kinds of good stuff for you, swag, as you might want to call it. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, tank tops. It's that time of year. It was 75 here yesterday. It's wet today, but I think the temperature's going to be what today, huh? We're going to be mid-60s. And we're going to stay mid-60s, looks like, till Sunday. Then Sunday, ooh, wow, we got 80s next week. Sunday, 75, partly cloudy. Then we are in the 80s. It is on the way. Wanting to take that boat out. I was wanting to trade my boat in, get a bigger boat. And it just, none of the dealerships where I'm at, they're able to get boats. And the reason is because the factories are so backed up, they can't get them out. One of the dealers where I was wanting to buy my boat said, yeah, you can order it, pay for it, and it should be here by the end of April. I thought, no. I'm not going to do that. You know what happens when you do something like that? You order it, you pay for it, and in September you're going, sure do hope my boat gets here. But anyway, what are you going to do? So anyway, I'll fish out of my boat. Then the idea of a motorcycle got in my head. I've been accused of being a biker. I've been accused of being a godfather. But yeah, I used to ride bikes. I had Harleys, Hondas, and Yamahas, and Suzukis, and yeah, I've had a lot of bikes in my day. But bike I've never had that I've always liked and wanted was an Indian. I just think they look good. So we will see how that works out. All right, let's get to a Q&A here. Olna has sent us a message. Good morning. Thanks for all your video. They really help. I'm a new broker. I have a shipper that is asking me for a rate sheet. My question to you, is it possible to send me a rate sheet or a template, how to create one? Okay, no, we can't send anything like that, and because there's too many variables. When a customer asks you for a rate sheet, are they asking for a rate sheet for a quote or a bid, or just a rate sheet? There's several types of different rate sheets, and to be able to know which one, generally let me put it this way. Generally, when a customer asks for a rate sheet, just in a sales call, they say, hey, send me your rate sheet. They're just wanting a generalized idea of what your rates are going from a specific city and state origin to the different states in the country. So you're not really doing a rate that would be a guaranteed rate or a bid, because you don't know exactly what city is the destination for that state might be that you're calculating a rate for. That makes sense? Until you know the exact city, all you can do is just give them an average. And generally, when you're doing that, you're doing an average rate per mile. And that's all you're putting down. It's not guaranteed. It's not a quote. It's not anything like that. Now, generally, though, when a customer is wanting you to give them a rate, or bid on their loads, or quote loads or something like that, and they have more than one, they're going to send you over their rate sheet, and it's going to have all the specifics. It's going to usually a lot of them be like on a spreadsheet. They'll send you over a spreadsheet. It'll show the origin, destination, and it's going to ask you for a total rate. That you would be wanting to get paid to move that load. So there's a lot of different variables in that. Oh no, what I'd recommend doing is go to the Taltoa website. I've been training and consulting brokers for over 20 years, and go to the training page. There's a lot of different training options there, but I will tell you this. Yeah, it goes in detail with you. The training does with Taltoa about how to calculate a rate. Matter of fact, anybody looking for training to be a freight broker agent, Taltoa obviously sponsors the podcast and the videos and everything that we do. Matter of fact, I'm the lead consultant at Taltoa. So a lot of times when you call in, you might be talking to me, and I'll be happy to help you out any way I can. So, keep that in mind. But yeah, go to the website, Taltoa, TALTOA.com, and lots of information, lots of different packages to choose from, everything from self-study all the way up to someone that might be wanting to start their own freight brokerage, get the full 12-month consulting, 12 or 6-month mentoring. Yes, all the full consulting packages include mentoring, except for the no placement. Now, the mentoring TMP, what we call it, Taltoa Mentorship Program, what that does for you, it allows you to begin working as a freight broker agent through Taltoa under one of their clients' authorities, licenses. So you're able to begin your operation as a freight broker agent, start getting the experience, building your customer base. And when you're ready to move on, when it's time to move on, either to start your own freight brokerage or even to maybe move on to become a broker agent, direct with the freight brokerage company. No mentorship program, you're out of the mentorship program. You'll be able to do so because you've got a book of business, you got the experience, you're ready to go. But anyway, if you have any questions about that, check out the Taltoa website. You can call me. Now, my name is Mike, obviously. What's our number? 479-668-0838. Be happy to help you out any way I can. All right, let's get to Amazon over here. I want to talk about Amazon. Like I said at the beginning of the video podcast in living color, what I was talking about in the beginning was how Amazon really screwed over their contractors, the ones that invested money. And they just told them, go on, we're not using you anymore. And where could they go? There was no place to go. A lot of these people built up their fleets. I think we've got a podcast, or we talked about that in one of the, you might find it on video or previous podcasts, but we have talked about it. But anyway, this was found, I came across this in Landline magazine. That's put out by OIDA. I want to give them credit where credit's due. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. Not a big fan of OIDA, but I respect what they do. And when they're right, they're right. When they're wrong, I will make that a point too. But this time they're right on it. Out of their Landline magazine. Recently, the Thomas Reuters Foundation featured a story of a now former anyway, Amazon delivery driver. In a nutshell, the driver, we'll call him Vic, had put up with a lot of shenanigans from Amazon, despite being an independent contractor. So he wasn't actually he's still an independent contractor, okay. He wasn't an employee. I think I said they were employees earlier, but these were still the independent contractors that were still around. However, Amazon finally pulled the stunt that drove Vic to say enough is enough. That stunt was sticking a camera in his face and recording his face and body for the entire shift. Yeah, I get it. Specifically, Vic was told he and his co-workers had until March 23rd, just about a week ago, to sign a release form allowing Amazon to record them and store biometric information. All of this information going to be collected with a 4-lens AI-powered camera in the vehicle. And rather than let them do that, Vic said, screw you. 2 weeks. 2 weeks notice, baby. According to the report my motherboard published on Tuesday, these cameras are going company-wide. If delivery drivers do not sign the consent form, they're gone. Amazon has about 75,000 delivery drivers. Since that form was due last week, we're still waiting for the final numbers of how many drivers. A lot of them are going to have to say, yeah, we'll do it because they don't have anything else to do. They can't do anything else. But just like the ELDs, don't expect that they're all going to stick around. But Amazon's gone nuts, man. They've always been nuts. I mean, I don't know, a big company, yeah, you made millions, billions, but I'll be the first one to say, who's going to buy books through, a website? Boy, do I look stupid now. Well, I probably did before I said that, but anyway. Anyway, natural dying cameras are used to help keep drivers and the communities where we deliver safe. Oh, this is Amazon's statement, by the way. They sent a statement to Landline magazine. Okay, let me start over. So this is the statement they sent Landline. Netrodyne cameras are used to help keep drivers safe and the communities where we deliver safe. We piloted the technology from April to October 2020 on over 2 million miles of delivery routes. And the results produce remarkable driver and community safety improvements. Accidents decreased 48%. Stop sign violations decreased 20%. Driving without a seatbelt decreased 60%. And distracted driving decreased 45%. Don't believe the self-interested critics who claim these cameras are intended for anything other than safety. Then don't believe me, because I totally think this is a crock, and you probably do too. It's just, another big brother tactic. Amazon's trying to control the world. Before the biometric AI-powered cameras introduced, Amazon drivers, get this now, were subjected to other forms of incredible micromanaging. As, all drivers must download a certain app that monitors their driving, phone use, and location. Now, these are independent contractors. Keep that in mind. They kept on saying drivers, but these are independent contractors. That data that was downloaded or that the app monitored for their driving, phone use, and locations, that data is compiled into a score that supervisors use for or against drivers. Hey, you're on the phone too long. Hey, you're an independent contractor, but I'm telling you, you're on the phone too long. That is not what an independent contractor should ever hear. Another app drivers have to download forces them to take a selfie before each shift, despite the fact that they already log in other ways before starting a shift. So, isn't this nuts? Now, what no one is talking about is how other technologies might force many drivers out of the industry. I left the industry. Well, I left for a couple of reasons. One, health. And just like everybody else, you get tired of being on the road all the time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. ELDs is a great example. And again, I'm getting this information that was in the article about Amazon and Landline. You can go to a Wired or Landline magazine and see the whole thing. But a great example is ELDs. I always said that ELDs are going to run people out of the industry. I would have quit. Well, I gave up my CDL. I did do that when it came up for renewal. After the ELDs came into play, I knew right then I would never get back in another truck if it had an ELD. There was nothing wrong with the logbook. When the federal government announced that it would require ELDs, a lot of truckers voiced opposition, many of whom threatened to leave the industry. It's difficult to know how many followed through. Well, that's me with that threat, but the threat was real. Truckers were doing just fine without the ELDs. That's true. Why change something that was working? Now their job, a driver's job is more difficult due to the micromanaging caused by the devices. And if you don't believe it, now that everything is on that ELD, electronic logging device, you can't take a break and rest if you need the rest without being penalized. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the details, but the clock, once you start the clock, it doesn't stop on an ELD. So you can't. There's many times when I was driving carrying the paper log. Man, I get up in the morning, I'd eat breakfast, get out there, drive about 100 miles down the road, and man, my eyes be heavy, I'd be tired. I'd pull over and go to sleep. And I take that time back at the end of the day, so I get just the way you log, you make the logbook work for you, not against you. Now, you got to be responsible for doing that. And what a lot of people in government were saying is that, if one person is not responsible, that's reason enough. I get that, but on the other hand, no, you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with the paper logbook. Now, I would almost bet that if you go into the ELDs and you start doing, following the money, you're going to find a lot of money that was dumped by ELD companies into the lawmakers' pockets, and hence we have the ELDs as law now. But I don't know that. Can't prove it, but it wouldn't surprise me, put it that way. To add insult to injury, there has been no strong evidence supporting the notion that ELDs improve safety. And that's how they got them passed. Hey, it's going to improve safety. We're going to monitor. We're going to be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. So there was no reason for the mandate in the first place. The issue doesn't stop at ELDs. Some lawmakers want to mandate front side under-ride guards, automatic emergency braking systems, and speed limiters. They're wanting to do it all in the name of safety, and none of these technologies will improve safety. Some of them might actually reduce safety. One thing for sure, they're all going to increase cost. For many truck drivers, speed limiters may be the final straw, just like the cameras were for Nick. Yeah, read the article. It makes a lot of sense. You're going to be surprised with that. Man, we are way over, but we're going to keep on going because we've got stuff to talk about today. So you're going to get a little bit extra long podcast, video podcast today. All right, told you back in Georgia, when was it, last week? More than 300 trucks were inspected during the Georgia Blitz. They did this under the guise of a crackdown in response to an uptick in crashes. Georgia DPS says that the Stop the Threat detail was held on, I-16 from Lawrence to Chatham County due to the increased number of commercial vehicle crashes on I-16. During the enforcement, officers with the Georgia DPS Motor Carrier Compliance Division performed 303 CMV inspections and issued dozens of tickets. Here's the breakdown of the tickets issued. 98 were issued for cell phone usage. And I'm guessing because they have their phone up to the ear. If I see a driver going down the road like this, and they're trying to shift and do it, that's off the wall nuts. Yeah, give them tickets left and right. Be a professional driver. That's wrong. Get Bluetooth, man. Put it in your ear. Get one of those Blue Parrots. Blue Parrots are great, by the way. I've had one for several years. But yeah, okay, I get that. 45 following too closely. Yeah, I kind of get that too. 23 for speeding, 2 for possession of drugs, 1 DUI. Come on, man, a DUI. He might still be in jail. A DUI and a CMV. That doesn't say it was a big truck, but we have to assume it was. Maybe it was just a delivery van or something like that. All right, let's close it out today with the top 10 highest paying trucking companies in the U.S. This, according to truckdriversalary.com. Top 10 highest paying trucking companies. Cisco works out to about $41.93 an hour. Walmart, $41.35 an hour. GP Transco, $40.38 per hour. Epis, $40.35 an hour. Mercer, $40.26 per hour. Now, of course, these are drivers getting paid and just what the annual salary worked out to per hour. Grand Island Express, that's the one up there in Grand Island, Nebraska, I believe, right? I've seen them around. $83,000 annual salary works out to about $39.91 per hour. ATS Trucking, $80,000 annual salary works out to around $38.46 per hour. Brady Trucking, here's a story. Not different Brady. $79,906 annual salary. That works out to about $38.42 per hour. Western Express, I've known them for a long time. $79,628 annual salary works out to about $38.28 per hour. And Dot Foods, $77,807 annual salary works out to about $37.41 per hour. Now, truckdriversalary.com says that the median annual driver pay in 2020 was $59,158, or about $1,137 per week. That is based on over 6.5 million salaries submitted from truckers online and job boards. So if you're not making up there pushing $100,000 a year, you may want to look for another company. Well, 59,000 anyway. It's a lot of money for a company driver. $87,204. That's what those Cisco drivers' annual salary works out to. $41 an hour. Not bad. Not bad for sitting behind the wheel. A lot more goes into that than just sitting behind the wheel. Cisco, you know, a lot of them are pulling them pups around. You got to get into those tight places like the Baskin Robbins on that side street that a car can barely fit through. You're earning your money, no doubt about that. All right, I believe that's going to wrap it up for this week's FBTB Video Podcast. Live if you got the Insider. If you don't, well, you ought to check it out. FBTVinsider.com. Go to Freight Broker TV. We have a lot of material there, but on the Insider, you get access to all of our public content. You got free access to that. You just got to register to get access to that stuff. And if you want to have access to the Insider content, which includes the live podcast that we're doing, the live video podcast like we're doing right now, you can tune in, watch that live as we do it. Have first access to that, along with all of the other Insider content we produce. That is Insider for insiders only. It has a lot more information and things. Yeah, $24.95 a year, $2.99 a month. You know, your choice, however you want to do it. All right, till next time. Listen, have a great Wednesday. Unless, of course, you've made other plans. We'll see you later.